So here is what you get in this absolutely packed owl pellet resource. It does, I should say up front, it comes with digital and printable versions of everything. So there are several pages of pre-experiment teacher directions, so you know everything that you need to know about the dissection. And there is, in fact, a link to a video showing me doing a complete owl pellet dissection. After that, there are reading pages for the students about barn owls with an explanation of what the pellets are and how owl pellets are formed in the owl digestive system with unique illustration, very clear, very simple for students to understand how it works. And then there are assessment questions to go with the reading, including a bonus question. Answer keys to everything. Then there is a large version of the owl digestive system for students to study and a worksheet for them to fill in. In the Google Slides version, this is a drag and drop where they can drag the words into the boxes. As I mentioned, answer keys to everything. And then you have the dissection lab itself. It's written in scientific method format. Very simple, easy to read. Students do a little bit of research, come up with a hypothesis, very clear instructions. And then interspersed through the lab are activities to help them. This one is a comparative anatomy activity where students become familiar with the skeletal system, and they compare a human, a barn owl, which is the pellet, where the pellet came from, and a rat, which is one of the animals that may show up in their owl pellet. Answer key. This is great for learning the skeletal system, in addition to complementing their owl pellet dissection. Again, continuing on with the procedure for the owl pellet dissection lab with very clear photos and information about what to do. And then this is really the big moment here with the dissection lab, which is this is a bone identification chart with very clear photographs of every single bone that they are likely to encounter in an owl pellet. Other owl pellet dissection labs and resources on the market have illustrations, and as far as I know, this is the only one with photographs. I spent time at the Los Angeles Natural History Museum using their bone collection and a photographer who specializes in macro photography, and she got these beautiful photographs so students can clearly see the bones that they will encounter in the pellet. This is an information sheet about the skulls, their sizes, and more explanation about what they'll find in the pellet. This is the sorting sheet where students sort the different types of bones that they find. Then the students find the quantities of the bones. They'll use that for a later activity. Then, in order to figure out what they have, there's an activity on understanding what rodent jaw bones look like versus other animals, rabbits, and even pulling out the teeth to figure out whether or not they have a vole or a mouse or a rat. Venn diagram activity to sort and understand the information they just learned. Answer key. Then there is another activity if they think they have a shrew or a mole to help them understand the difference between the skeletal characteristics of those two animals, and another Venn diagram activity for them to visually sort the information that they've learned. And then once students understand what they have just read and done, they can use this dichotomous key, very clearly labeled, for students to identify the skulls and the skeletons that they found in their pellet. So step by step it goes through and asks yes/no questions so they can determine if they have a bird, a shrew, a mole, a mouse, a rat, a vole, or a rabbit, which are the most common things to find in owl pellets. This is a great lesson in how to use a dichotomous key. Once they've done that, continuing on with the lab, they tally up how many animals were in their pellet. the different numbers of animals, and then they lay out, they attempt to assemble a complete skeleton. They lay it out on this worksheet. I've provided an example of what you might see in terms of student work. And then as a class, you can have them use their data to tally up the class data and create a bar graph of what was found in the pellets. Then there are conclusion questions about what they found in the pellet, and application questions about, the things that they saw, predator-prey relationships in food chains, and reading a line graph and understanding how owl pellets can be used to understand the wider ecosystem in which barn owls live. If your students are a little bit more advanced, you can use this application question, which has students estimate the percent of an owl's diet by biomass. So the students figure out which prey makes up the largest percentage of the owl's diet by biomass. This is intentionally at the end so that you can leave it off if your students are not ready to calculate percentages yet. Post-experiment teacher notes, answers to all of the application questions. And then there is owl pellet vocabulary that is written in student-friendly language, and a crossword puzzle to review that vocabulary, along with, again, an answer key. And finally, there are open-ended questions that you can use as bell ringers or for early finishers that ask students creative writing, and also to reflect on things such as finding remains of prey animals. And sometimes that can be tough to think about these animals that died in order for the barn owl to eat. So questions for students to think about. That's it. Thank you for watching.